Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is James and you're watching Wonderful World. And with me today is Pumpkin, my 2-year-old corn snake. And corn snakes are one of the most popular snakes in the reptile hobby. And rightfully so. They are beautiful and they have excellent personalities and they can be very friendly and docile. And their care is relatively easy where reptiles are concerned. If you're a new corn snake owner or you're considering getting a corn snake, then one of the first things you need to do is set up an enclosure for it ahead of time. And that means you need to decide what you want to use for substrate. So in today's video, I'm going to go over 3 different options you can choose from when it comes to substrate for your corn snake's enclosure. And Pumpkin is going to help us out by giving us his unbiased opinion about each one of those. The most simple and least expensive option would be either paper towels or newspaper. Paper is not the most aesthetically pleasing substrate, but it has some advantages. When your snake messes on it, it's very easy to just take the paper out, wipe down the enclosure, and replace it with fresh paper. This is actually not a bad choice of substrate for hatchling or very young snakes. There is a drawback to paper as substrate for corn snakes, though. Corn snakes often like to burrow, and giving a corn snake the opportunity to burrow into its substrate gives it a dimension of enrichment in its enclosure, and paper towels don't allow for that. I've set up a quick enclosure using paper towels, and I'm curious to see how Pumpkin will react to it. He hasn't been on paper since he was a hatchling. I've put a bunch of things in here for him to explore and investigate, so hopefully, if nothing else, this might be some fun enrichment time for him. Right now, Pumpkin is mostly just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But he is curious about the items in this enclosure. But I do know Pumpkin's body language enough to know that he doesn't feel very secure right now. And as he explores this strange enclosure, he's being very cautious. So my thought is that Pumpkin is not too impressed with the paper substrate. So paper is not a bad substrate for your corn snake, but a better option is aspen bedding. Aspen is a safe wood for snakes as opposed to cedar or pine, And Aspen snake bedding is readily available at any pet store. Aspen holds burrows well, and your corn snake will enjoy tunneling around in it. The ability to burrow in the substrate is not only enriching for your snake, but can also give it more of a sense of security. It's not as inexpensive as a roll of paper towels, but still is pretty affordable. It's pretty easy for spot cleaning, but you will need to completely replace it every month or two to keep it fresh and clean. Aspen is a good substrate, but it does have drawbacks. It's still not very natural looking, and aspen will quickly form mold and bacteria when it becomes wet. This means that you can't really mist down the enclosure to create humidity. If you keep your corn snake on aspen, then you really need to provide a humid hide for it. And this is just more of an enclosed hide that you fill with damp sphagnum moss. Your corn snake can retreat here for some extra humidity when it's time to shed. And I've made up the same enclosure that I did with the paper earlier, but this time using aspen bedding. So let's see how Pumpkin reacts to that. My guess is he'll go straight to burrowing into this aspen. So Pumpkin has been in aspen before, so he knew exactly what to do. And when you have your snake in aspen bedding, you might not see it as often. But it's obvious that Pumpkin in this situation feels much more safe and secure. And a snake that feels more safe and secure is going to be a lot easier to socialize and is going to be a much more calm and friendly snake. Aspen might be a better option than paper, but I think an even better option would be a vivarium ABG mix. ABG mix is the substrate that I use in all my temperate and tropical vivariums. I made a previous video on what ABG mix is and how to make it, so if you want to see that, I'll put a link to that video in the corner. With ABG Mix, you can be as creative as you want to be in making a beautiful naturalistic environment for your corn snake. If you add plants and wood and plenty of leaf litter, then your corn snake's enclosure is more like what it would experience in the wild and is environmentally enriching for your snake. Corn snakes have a humidity requirement of 40 to 50%, and ABG Mix holds humidity well. To maintain that moderate level of humidity, all you need to do is mist down the substrate once a week. And a corn snake needs to be dry enough that there's no need for a drainage layer or false bottom. You don't have to make it bioactive, but you can. Add some springtails, isopods, or beetles as a cleanup crew, and you'll still have some spot cleaning to do, but they will help keep it all fresh. In my ABG mix, I add just a bit of compost from my compost bin to add some microorganisms and jumpstart the bioactivity. The ABG mix is a little more expensive to buy the ingredients you'll need and a little more work to put together and maintain, but it does create the most healthy environment for your corn snakes. So to me, it's worth it. If you bring a new corn snake home, the enclosure you've set up for it is an unfamiliar place. So what you can expect it to do is retreat into a hide or bury himself in the substrate. And he might stay there for a while until he starts feeling more at home and decides that it's a safe place. So I wasn't surprised when Pumpkin did just that. But you can see that the ABG mix was perfect for Pumpkin to burrow into and feel safe and secure. So there you have 3 good options of substrate to choose from for your corn snake. If you are a new corn snake owner or are considering getting a corn snake, that should give you a lot to think about. I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you found it useful. If you did, then please consider giving me a like and subscribing to the channel. And as always, until the next video, I look forward to seeing you again soon.